Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys called biggest offseason losers in NFC East. While we can debate over who the most popular team in the NFL is until we lose our voices, the debate over the most scrutinized team begins and ends with the Dallas Cowboys. Such is the cost of being the most valuable professional sports franchise in the world. When things are going bad in Dallas, like they have been for the last year, that scrutiny can get pretty intense. Bleacher Report's Mo Moton singled out the Cowboys as the biggest offseason losers in the NFC East division in the 2025 offseason. The Dallas Cowboys parted ways with former head coach Mike McCarthy, lost lead running back Rico Dowdle in free agency, and right guard Zach Martin retired, Moton wrote. One can argue that the Cowboys downgraded from McCarthy to a far less accomplished replacement in Brian Schottenheimer, who will be a full-time head coach for the first time in his career. After 3 consecutive seasons with a 12-5 regular season record from 2021 to 2023, the Cowboys are coming off a massive step backwards in 2024 where they went 7-10. Combine that with the Cowboys' postseason failures, they haven't made the NFC Championship game since the 1995 season, and the pressure just continues to mount. The Cowboys have cost themselves tens of millions by not paying star players earlier than later with quarterback Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, players they eventually paid, but may have cost themselves even more in terms of the locker room and the uncertainty they continue to force on players they know they will just pay eventually. NFL All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons is just the latest example, as the Cowboys drag their feet on a player on a Hall of Fame pace as he enters his 5th NFL season. Parsons is in line for a blockbuster contract extension that is expected to make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the league, but there has been very little movement, despite Parsons making it clear he wants to be a Dallas Cowboy for his entire career, Sports Illustrated's Josh Sanchez wrote on May 5. While Martin's replacement comes in the form of first-round draft pick Tyler Booker, it's not realistic to expect he'll be able to lift his level of play to that of the future Hall of Famer and 9-time NFL All-Pro as a rookie. Maybe someday. Just not in 2025. At running back, what the Cowboys have done to replace Dowdle is even more confusing. The Cowboys signed free agent Javonte Williams to a 1-year, $3 million contract, but even that seems like they may have overpaid. While Williams led the Denver Broncos in rushing the last 2 seasons, 2024 was arguably his worst year as a pro with 513 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns while averaging just 3.7 yards per carry. The Cowboys also drafted 2 running backs in the later rounds with 5th-round pick Jaden Blue, number 149 overall, and 7th-round pick Phil Mafah, number 239 overall, but it's a leap to say either of them will make any significant contributions. Dallas Cowboys trade rumor on Trevon Diggs to Chiefs leaves one major question. The Dallas Cowboys are trying to get everyone rowing in the same direction under new coach Brian Schottenheimer, and that includes rehabbing guys like Trevon Diggs. The Cowboys were able to grab Siobhan Revel Jr. in the 3rd round of the recent NFL draft, and the fact that some think he is a first-round talent had it not been for his ACL tear causes many to believe that the selection is directly tied to Diggs. And suddenly there are trade rumors involving the playmaking star who is playing on a $97 million contract extension with the Cowboys. One outlet is connecting the Kansas City Chiefs as a trade partner for Diggs. Diggs won't make much of a difference, but he has similar experience to Trent McDuffie and could help disrupt the aerial attack, the site writes. We have no idea what that means. The Chiefs want to trade for Diggs even though he won't make much of a difference? That's part of the goofiness here. There is a more serious Cowboys issue, though, and that is about how to manage the cap. They are working up toward giving Micah Parsons a lucrative extension that might be worth $40 million annually, and fellow cornerback Darren Bland, who has usurped Diggs on the totem pole, is slated to hit free agency after the season. But here's the thing, or 2 things actually. As Diggs rehabs his knee with the plan of playing in 2025, his contract has no guarantees beyond this season. So if Dallas wants to say goodbye, in whatever form, the team simply does so following 2025. And saves $12 million. What about the idea that moving him now could open up room to pay Bland and Parsons? Besides the fact that the Cowboys don't need room for Micah, his new contract will actually reduce his 2025 cap hit. There is only a slight benefit to cutting him. You gain $7 million but lose the player. And what about this trade concept, to Kansas City or wherever? Diggs, 26, is a two-time Pro Bowler and a former All-Pro, but he's also missed 21 games in the last 2 years and he might miss half the 2025 season. So with all due respect to all involved, except for the folks starting this swap rumor, why would the Chiefs or anybody else trade for a not healthy $97 million player? Mutual interest between Cowboys, Wr. Amari Cooper. The draft came and went without the Cowboys adding at the receiver spot. At least one addition amongst the veterans still on the market is expected as a result, with a familiar face on the team's radar. Amari Cooper's name was recently mentioned as a wideout the Cowboys have discussed bringing back. Nothing is imminent at this point, but this team-player connection remains one to watch. During an appearance on SportsCenter yesterday, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported a mutual interest exists between Dallas and Cooper, Hat Tip Bleacher Report. The Cowboys traded for Cooper in 2018, with a first-round pick going the other way. The former Raider remained in Dallas for another 3 seasons, topping 1,100 receiving yards on 2 occasions. With CeeDee Lamb emerging as the team's WR1, Cooper was dealt to the Browns in March 2022 as part of a late-round pick swap agreement. Since that point, the Cowboys have attempted to find a viable group of options to complement Lamb. Over the past 2 seasons, that effort included Brandon Cooks logging a starter's role. He returned to the Saints during free agency, though, further limiting the number of veterans still available to Dallas. Cooper, whose production took a notable step back in 2024, should not require a major financial investment if a Cowboys reunion is to take place. Given Lamb's $34 million per year pact, cost-effective role players will of course be key at the position. During his 2 full seasons in Cleveland, Cooper racked up 2,410 yards and 14 touchdowns. The Browns struggled with respect to quarterback play last year, and the mid-season trade which sent him to Buffalo did not produce a large workload on his new team. Entering his age 31 campaign, Cooper will not be expected to duplicate the success from earlier in his career on his next team. Nevertheless, the 5-time Pro Bowler could help a Cowboys WR room led by Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, Paris Campbell and returner Kavonte Turpin. Dallas currently has roughly $34.5 million in cap space with other offseason priorities, like a Micah Parsons extension, to attend to. It will be interesting to see, though, if progress toward a Cooper agreement can be made in the near future. And you, fan? What do you think about Amari Cooper's situation? Write to us in the comments.